Mom and I had rather an untraditional wedding. We met in South Florida, met at a jazz concert introduced by a friend of ours, and we had a mad, wild courtship, and then we decided that we were going to elope. So that's probably a little non-traditional. Well, let me see. Number one, I said we eloped, but we didn't really go anywhere. We got married in a gazebo that was out over a lake at a condominium where your mother lived. And we only had a couple of witnesses, the woman who was a mutual friend that introduced us, my best friend, and a woman who worked for me who was a very good friend as well, and she was a notary public. So in the state of Florida, at least, a notary can perform a wedding, and that's what she did for us. It was pretty casual. I wore slacks and a sport coat. Your mother actually bought the dress that she wore at the wedding the day of the wedding. And then we, afterwards, we had a small party with those friends, and then we got on a plane at Fort Lauderdale International Airport, and we flew to Indianapolis so that I could meet my new in-laws. Well, you mean other than the flaming Maori tribesmen and the toboggan ride that we had to take across the lake, it was pretty much standard. No, I mean, it was standard wedding ceremony in terms of the vows and all. Your mother and I each had vows of our own that we said. And then we also omitted the term obey. I didn't think there was any way that your mother was going to obey anyway, so why make a false promise? Beyond that, though, we had the traditional exchange of rings. See, still wear one. And we had the traditional kiss at the end. So, beyond being married in a gazebo out over the water, the Maori tribesmen, the flaming toboggan ride, it was pretty much your standard wedding ceremony. Well, I don't think Mom, I mean, you know your mother well enough. I don't think she's in for the frill and the fancy so much. I think Mom probably get more nervous than anything else, being the center of attention with hundreds of people. And I certainly didn't care about it. I had, as you know, I had been married previously. I got married too young. We both did. Thankfully, we didn't have any children, and we had a very amicable separation some 25 years ago. And we had been through a big wedding, a huge wedding. And I tell you, it certainly is more stress than it was worth. I think the happiest part of the wedding ceremony was the moment that we bid adieu to the guests and left. Well, yeah, the religion part was quite different. I was raised in Aztec, and we usually incorporate human sacrifice into most of our ceremonies. And Mom didn't seem to want to go along with that. And so, and we didn't do that the first time either, because my first wife was Phoenician, and she wanted no part of that. What they did mostly was, there was a lot of singing and the banging of tin pots. So, religion didn't really play a part in our ceremony the second time with Mom and I, because we had a civil ceremony. It was the only way that we could agree on how it was going to go, and it didn't contain any human sacrifice. Really. No, the only true part of what I just said is the fact that it was a civil ceremony, and so religion really didn't play a role in our wedding ceremony at all. Mom and I both were Christians, but had come from different backgrounds. Mine was Roman Catholic, and Mom's was Christian Science, but it didn't play a role. And as I said, I'd already been through the big ceremony. Christian Science doesn't really have anything particular in the way of a wedding ceremony, so it was kind of a natural for us to go the civil route with, and especially with friends and with a friend performing the ceremony. It was very nice. Well, thanks, Brenny. It was a pleasure to be a part of your project. Sorry I wasn't quite wacky enough for you, though I thought that working in the human sacrifice element to the wedding ceremony was pretty good. Buy her something.